Hello everyone and welcome to the Racing Social Weekend Preview. Dawn's excited because the flat is back, which means I just get to sit here, be quiet and listen to Dawn's selections. So in that case, we have split the pod up this week. We have got 5 from the flat and I have thrown in 3 from Uttoxeter and Stratford, just so I can have some input and it's not Dawn just waffling on about the flat and Ryan Moore and stuff like that. But Dawn, are you excited about the flat being back?
Oh, I'm excited because, as you say, Ryan Moore, J'adore, Moore is back. And we were lucky enough, our flat season started last week and I was at Naas and he had literally got off the plane after riding 2 winners in Dubai and came and rode a winner in the form of Paddington at Naas, who was very, very, very good. And I seen some very good horses. And then he was back at Navan on Wednesday again for more. So the flat season over here already has been pretty much dominated by Aidan O'Brien, Team Aidan O'Brien, whether it be Shamie Heffernan or Ryan Moore. And it's fantastic to see. And we don't have flat weather at the moment either. So it's going to be very, very interesting because my heels are 6 inches down in it and it's squashy and squelchy. And if we have a wet summer, I'd be taking notes of some of these horses now that we're seeing that are able to be, mudlarks, because they really shouldn't. If you look at some of the breeding, they shouldn't. They should really want concrete and they don't, which is great. Just goes to show you how good it is. And the flat is back.
On that note then, if you want to kick things off, Dawn, on the 225, we're going to start off at Doncaster, Spring Mile handicap. Looking at this, 7-1 the field. Nice easy handicap to kick things off.
A nice easy handicap, yeah. They're as easy as your jumps handicaps, Joe. I really like Broken Spear in this. Try to make a bigger case for him, but the main case is Billy Knocknan. He is some jockey riding out of his skin. We talk about Mikey O'Sullivan over here. We talk about Aidan Kelly. Billy Knocknan, the man, 17 years old. First Godolphin horse he rode, he won on. He is brilliant and he is so worth his £5. So he's riding for Tony Coyle. Okay, look, I'm going to go digging back again. The last win was 509 days ago, okay, but bear with me, it was at Doncaster. So he's going back to somewhere he likes. He was 14th to Shaleer. Shaleer was, if you remember, if our viewers remember, at Ascot, the 80-1 winner of David O'Mara's, who's been running very, very well in Dubai, really, really well in Dubai. And he ran a very good second in the race that was won previously by Zip. So you've got a little bit of that. Zip won a handicap a month ago as well. So he's 8-1. Okay, let's forget about his layoff a little bit. And it's because Billy Knocknan is up that he's probably 8-1. But like I say, that young jockey is going places. And if Broken Spears to win tomorrow, he'll take him there. I was looking at the favourites, Zosimus, and it's not even French. He was with Donica O'Brien, 8 to Cadillac on his first outing at Leopardstown and Maiden. He won a maiden at Dundalk in 2020, and he hasn't run since November 2021, where he was 5th. But again, we'll forgive that. 7-1, I like the look of him, mainly because I'm more familiar with him and the Donica O'Brien factor. But between the two of them, Broken Spear, I think, would Billy up.
Can you see young Billy being retained jockey at Godolphin somewhere down the line?
Somewhere down the line for sure, Joe. I mean, whoever snaps him up is very, very lucky. He's just got pure dedication. He's magic. He's absolutely magic. And even not that you go off trends on Twitter or anything anymore. Well, not anymore. Obviously, we are all living in a kind of a social media society. But the minute you put his name up, straight away the algorithm lights up, because people love him. They love watching him. He's like a young Lester Piggott, or he's like your Ryan Moore, or he's just, there's something, he's got the X factor and he knows. He not only is he, like we discussed before, he's a horseman as well as a jockey, and that kind of adds. So Godolphin or wherever he goes, they're very lucky to have him.
Okay. 3 o'clock Doncaster, the the Camage Trophy Stakes listed race over 6 furlongs. Bit of a closer field this, 5-2 bar. Looks very competitive on paper by prices, doesn't it?
It does, but I've not that I've taken the lazy way out, but I've gone with the 5-1, the Havana Gold, El Cabala. You've got that Flaming Rib form in there. Flaming Rib was second to Perfect Power. So you've got Kariba's form, you've got Alcohol Free. Alcohol Free is now in Australia. She did a trials race 2 weeks ago and absolutely annihilated whatever was behind her. Won at Newcastle, beating Tiber by a short head, Tiber Flow by a short head, who was 5th to Rohan in a stakes at Ascot. Summergand, again, David O'Mara. He's our kind of, flat handicap king. You've got that form that stands up there. So really like him. I think King's Lynn is in here too. He's another eye catcher, but out of the two of them, Carl Burke's El Cabala, because of the Flaming Rib form and because Summergand, we talk about our favourite national hunt horses. Summergand is one of the favourite flatties, and it doesn't, the form lies up nicely. And a 5-2, you're still getting a little bit of value in something that is quite competitive.
Okay. 3:35, Dawn, is the Lincoln. Is that Saturday's main event on the flat?
Yeah, it would be. And you've got William Haggis with 2 very, very good horses in here, Joe. He's going to be the first trainer to train 5 winners in the Lincoln, should this happen. When I went back and I looked, the winners have mainly come from double figure drawers, which is good. It kind of works in favour with his 2. He's got Al Muhir, son of Frankel. His last win was under Tom Marquand at Haydock on heavy, so the ground isn't going to bother him tomorrow. And he's got a bit of class. I seen William talking earlier about him. He thinks he's classier than Monstahib. I like the 2 of them. I could make a case for the 2 of them. Monstahib also likes the soft. He was 4th to Bless Him in the Bunbury Cup. He missed his season as a 3-year-old. That's the only thing. But Almahir, like I said, his last win was under Tom Marquand. It's Tom Marquand's birthday today. He stayed on strongly when he bet Fame and Acclaim, who was 18th in this race last year. I know 18th, we're kind of stretching here, but still I'm making a case for him. And he was a nice second to Sassy Victory at Goodwood in August. He was a bit keen that day, but Sassy Victory is entered in the Magnolia Stakes at Doncaster as well on Saturday. I think he's in the first. He's 18-1, so he's a bit of value if you're kind of going with that. I also like Simon and Ed Crisford's horse as well, because I think James Doyle needs a bit of redemption after Algiers last week in the World Cup. Still crying over that, wherever that Japanese horse swooped in from. Alwal, he's half brother to Breton Rock, so I like to dig up a couple of relatives. Who was a Group 2 winner in the Lennox Stakes. His last win was at Red Car over 7. It's brought up the breeze ups for 406,000. So, he kind of needs to show his worth. He bet a horse that's now in Shatin, and the horse is running well in Shatin. It's Teesees, I think is Teesees, yeah. He's a Britannia Stakes winner. So out of the 3 of them, I'd like to see William Haggis have a 5th win in the Lincoln. He deserves it. And if it's to be William Haggis is out of his 2, I'm saying Al Mahir with Andrea Zani. But a bit of redemption for Ed and Simon Crisford and the Doyler. Let it be Alwal if you want a bit more value at 5-1. So out of the 2 of them, either one, maybe do a forecast.
Yeah. Is the Lincoln a race you've had much success in the past, or is it a bit of a puzzle every year?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Last year now, well, 2018, William Haggis had a Deeb who, you know, has gone globe trotting and had won in Australia and kind of gave Tom Marquand his Aussie Tom kind of name out there. Last year, it threw up Johan, who was a 28-1 winner. So you're kind of going, is it ground dependent? But this time of year, I kind of go, what do you expect? Anyway, you are kind of looking for something that enjoys a little bit of soft anyway. So for me, having success betting wise, I'm going back to 2018 with a Deeb. I did not have Johan, not Rohan, Johan last year. So this year, fingers crossed.
It's going to be soft, isn't it? I mean, I can hear the rain outside now, and it's more rain due tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, 80% they're saying more. So that's going to be, you know, you'd nearly want something that gobbles up the mud.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Move over to Kempton now, the 5+2 Magnolia Stakes listed race. Only a small field here, fairly compressed. Favourite Secret State for William Buick, 13-8. Is he your likely winner?
Yeah, love him. Absolutely love him. And I love him because I was at Royal Ascot the day he won. I was standing with my friend. My friend tried to battle me down and say, no, he hadn't got a chance. I said, look at this horse. He catches the eye. And by God, he catches the eye. He's out of Jacqueline Quest, who was such a good mare and such a good mum. I mean, she bred, I mentioned at the start of the show, Jackie O, who won the fillies race that Tuesday won at Naas last year. Jackie O won it this year. So Secret State is her half brother. He's just really, really good. Charlie Appleby, what's not to like with William Bew. He's also half brother to Onassis, who, if you remember, won the Sandringham Stakes with Hayley Turner at Royal Ascot. He was second to Deauville Legend in a Group 2 in the Voltigeur Stakes, and he won a 1 mile 3 handicap at Goodwood, beating Mascud, who was fifth in a very good Hampton Court at Royal Ascot as well. So it all lines up. Now, Royal Ascot last year, if you remember that weather, it was 32 degrees. I had sweat on top of the sweat, and it was hotter than hell and harder than hell. So the only thing is it going to again be a little bit soft for him? If he's good enough, he wins, Joe, I think. And look, okay, he's 11-8, but Secret State, he's the only winner for me in the race.
I like the way you keep talking about a race and saying, if you remember. I mean, on a Saturday afternoon, there's someone I'm normally on the golf course rather than watching the racing.
It was Royal Ascot.
3:15, Kempton, last one in the flat. The Queen's Prize Handicap. Again, another small field. Looks really competitive. Buick's on the second favourite. Has he got a chance of getting a double?
He does. He's a very strong chance of getting a double. I've kind of not disregarded him in this because I want Secret State. And I'm not saying lightning doesn't strike twice. It can strike 3, 4, 5 times for Buick on days. But I've looked to see the stars, Aztec Empire, Andrew Balding's, Oisin's up. He beat Deadlock by 7 lengths at Kempton in January. He won again at Kempton, beating Withhold, and he stayed on well. Aced It was third to him that day. Now, Aced It is really interesting. He's with Camilla Poulton, who's a dual purpose trainer. And if you see on her social media, you can understand why the horses just run so well for her. They really do. She brings them to the beach. She brings them to the forests. Her whole tag on her bio on the website is welfare and happiness of the horse's priority, and it really shows. We were outbidded by her for a horse called Penne Rossa. So as sad as we were to miss him, he went to Camilla instead. So she's got aced it in this. He was originally with John Ox. Then he went to Joseph's. He goes on soft to heavy. Jack Mitchell is up. And yeah, I just really like, he won 78 days ago, and he's he's very, very interesting. I like his history. And you know me, Joe, I go back into history too. But the thing with Camilla Poulton's horses is they just want to do for her. They just want to perform for her because they're happy, happy horses. So I do like Aztec Empire. He's possibly not really much value. So for the romantic in me and for a dual purpose trainer, I'd like to see Camilla have another Saturday winner and a good winner at Kempton.
You touched on it then, Dawn, about the horses going obviously through the forest, down the beach. A lot of trainers use beaches. Is that just to change the routine up and just give them something new?
Yeah, definitely. If you even see with like Gordon and that, or
Jim Williams uses it on Rebecca Curtis.
Ado McGuinness as well. They all go out on the beach and they love it. They absolutely love it. Like last week, Camilla Sharples had up Queen's Brook and Sire de Burley in the sea. And like little Sire de Burley was running his lips along the water and that. And you could see they were just loving it. It's like us. We kind of like a change of scene, you know, and you can get stuck into the same old routine. I used to have the same with the show ponies. They'd be going round and round and round in circles in the show ring. You bring them to the forest or to the beach or something. It's like you're bringing them somewhere brand new. And it gives them a different lease of life. It gives them, you know, how strong I feel about retraining racehorses as well. It gives them a different purpose too, not that they're just running and running and running. So it lets them be a horse as well. And I think it tells with the training and everything else. So there's definitely method.
Yeah, definitely see that. Now we're going to move on to the jumps action, the main action of the day at Uttoxeter. We're going to kick things off, Dawn, in the 3:55. Novices handicap chase, 2 mile 4. 5 runners. Trappy, what do you like?
Are you back in your happy place? Yeah.
No, yeah. I can talk now.
Yeah, you're saying 5 runners. I got 3 for you. Harry and Dan Skelton on a Saturday. You know I'm going to go in that direction. I want an aeroplane. We got an aeroplane at Cheltenham. I want another aeroplane.
Don't think there'd be an aeroplane at Uttoxeter. Wouldn't look right.
Look, I'll take it anywhere at this stage. Real Stone, right, it was a non-runner at Sandown. That day, Bundoran won. Love a bit of Bundoran. He won a 2 mile at Fossloss in January on soft to heavy. Again, we're going on about the soft and heavy. He beat another Creek who was second at Newbury 5 days ago. A very good second. He's been fourth to Grumpy Charlie at Chepstow in 2021. And he beat Killer Kane. We're going back to 2020 during the lockdown days. But we go back. So, yeah, I really like him. Blackjack Magic caught my eye. Rex Dingle is up. He beat Rose of Arcadia in a novice handicap at Exeter. Aidan Coleman rode him that day. Rose of Arcadia won 12 days ago at Fontwell. So I like that nice little bit of form there. And then Venetia has a very interesting one with only 10:13. Was fourth to Classic Getaway at Punchestown in January 2022, originally from Gordon's. 8 to 9 at Sandown in the last outing, but I wouldn't mind that. Second to Uhtred at Naas in a maiden, and 1 at Leopardstown under Jack Kennedy in a 2 by maiden herding in March 2022. He's Fame and Glory, which, you know, stage star. So he's interesting. He interests me. A little bit of weight coming off him. And what do we always say on here? They don't lose their form.
No.
Out of the 3 of them, I like Blackjack Magic. But weight-wise, Prevaricate, Venetia and Charlie Deutsch's horse. Do you want to do it for me?
Venetia never has easy names, does she?
No. I can't even get my mouth around it. Yeah, so Venetia and the horse with the very low weight, there's only 5 in it anyway. It begins with a P. I like that for interest, but out of the other 2 that I've mentioned, Blackjack Magic I really like.
You'd be pleased to know my one isn't any of your 3.
I'm not surprised.
I think Make Me a Believer is worth a second look. I mean, 0 from 2 the chaser. He's been sixth both times. Last time was 3 miles. I think he definitely failed to stay and see it out. Time before that, over shorter, it was a decent display. It was his chase debut, and it was after a lengthy layoff. So I think there was a lot of positives to take from that. 2 runs, pumped. Yeah, he's learned an awful lot. This time it'll be a lot fitter. It's a much more suitable trip for him off a mark of 1:27. Can't forget he's a former bumper winner. He's a former hurdle winner. He was third in the Grade 2 over hurdles at Warwick as well. And Lord of Kerach, who is the favourite here today, was 16 lengths behind. I'll be pretty optimistic. There's a big run in Make Me a Believer, and at 13-2, I can't ignore him. So make me a believer for me. Next race we're going to look at is the 4:30 at Uttoxeter handicap chase over 3 miles. There is no prices up yet, as far as I can see. But the one I like is Tip Top Mountain for Robert Wolford and Stan Shepherd. 4:11 as a chaser. He seems to win a race and then he loses a couple, and win a race and lose a couple. That's the pattern here. He can never put a good run together, a good sequence of runs. He tries 3 miles for the first time here. Going back through his form, 3 miles is well within his compass. He always runs his race. He's so consistent. 2 from 3 at Uttoxeter. It's always a bonus. Horses for courses and all that. He won a point over 3 miles in his younger years. I think he's got a very good chance. And I think once the betting is released, I think he'll be at the top of the market. So Tip Top Mountain for me. What do you like in this race?
I've got 2. You're lucky I don't have 3 or 4. Last quarter, I think the ground was too good from the last day. He was only beaten a short head at Fosslas on heavy by Valeres. Valeres was third to Boot Hill. So, you know, I like it.
Horse.
Valeres.
Simon?
No, it was. I seen yellow and black colours. I think.
I think it used to be Simon.
And gone on, yeah. He led at the last and was only headed 8 days ago at Fosslas. He won a handicap hurdle on good to soft at Lingfield under Tom Scudamore in November. Passed Chloe's Corner and ran on. Chloe's Corner is entered at Fontwell on Tuesday. So it's just something to know, you know, if he wins, look at Chloe's Corner on Tuesday. Drop him in, finished 16 lengths behind him that day, and he won at Huntington on Tuesday for Ollie Murphy. So it's nicely standing up for him. Jack Tudor's up, 11.9. Yeah, okay, a little bit heavy, but he should be fine. David Pipe trains. And then I looked at Golden Emery. I like him because he kept on well. Yeah, he was 12 lengths beaten by Rebecca Menzies' Road Warrior. But Onzak of Sue Smith's was third in that race and was a good winner also. And I know we can't mention him, but we're going to have to. He's the bane of a lot of people's lives. He was also placed to Mighty Potter in a point-to-point. So love him or hate him, you know, the form don't lie either. Just don't bring him to Cheltenham. Also with Golden Emery's by Dr. Dino. Same daddy as Jazzy Matty and State Man. So I really like last quarter. And I really like Gold Emery. Out of the 2 of them, well, you've got Brian Hughes up on Gold Emery, but I know you'll push me for one last quarter.
Last quarter. You got to let the State Man go. You've got to let it go.
No, absolutely not. Tell Con Hill to come to Punchestown and face him again.
We're not going to go for this again, are we?
On his home turf. You see, Stateman was away from home.
Oh, is that the excuse?
No, I have no excuse. I said that last week. I'm still thinking about that other horse.
Stratford, 4:37, handicap chase, 2 miles 6. Some good old boys in here. Vision Deflo, Wilderneath, whatever they call him. Ruthless Article. I mean, anything take fancy in this?
It's I learned it on Google earlier. It's Quai de Neuf.
Was it Quai de Neuf? Yeah.
Quai de Neuf. Do you know what it means, Joe?
I don't know.
What's new?
Was it?
What's new? Yeah. Won at Ludlow 36 days ago on Good to Soft. 11 wins, sorry, ahead of Venetia Williams' Heroes, which was a very, very easy win. He was second at Ludlow by 1 length to Le Chameleon. Le Chameleon is entered on Monday, so again, just keep an eye on that. Didn't get much room at the 12th. So I think that kind of cost him the 1 length or a half a length, but he stayed on. He was 5th to Forever William at Taunton in January. He's been 10th to Pick Dory. Okay, I'm stretching a tiny, tiny bit. He was 2nd to Old Canelo at Aintree. And he's also got a little bit of Falco Blitz, who we've seen at Limerick on Sunday, and Irish Hill form. So there's not much not to like. Evan Williams, Adam Wedge, 11.5, Cadenif.
Obviously, I touched on Vision Deflo then, but he is coming back into a bit of form, but 7 wins out of 43 runs is fairly off-putting, despite his brilliant runs the last twice. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and a mate of mine probably call me FBW, which is what it's a term that we use at Cheltenham. Dom of Marie, he's been knocking on the door recently, and definitely stays this far. Talented Caelan Quinn is on board, claiming £5. He's the young legs of the field by about 2, 3, 4 years, some of the case, and I just think younger legs are going to prevail in a race like this. So it's Dom of Marie for me. Any other business, Dawn, at the weekend on Sunday?
Yeah, we've the Downpatrick, up to Downpatrick or down to Downpatrick for the Ulster National. It's always a great, great race. And what are we, a week? Yeah, we're only a week and a bit, 9 days off the Irish National, 2 weeks off the Aintree Grand National. Jam Man is in here, Punitive, Definite Plan, Fakira. Wawa only has 10-10 on him now. Happy retirement.
Wawa. The only thing was going to mention him, but jockey booking. Brian Cooper's rode him nearly every time, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. And I seen Brian, happy retirement, Brian. I seen him up on his Instagram story the other day, plans, find a job. So I'm sure he'll be watching Wawa on Sunday. What I like about Wawa is he's got only 10-10 on him, Joe. That's the thing, you know. It's a light enough weight for him. Melina Girl is in here too, of Gavin Cromwell's. 3rd and 2nd to Allegory Devasi. We know how good she is. Mortal. You know, I've banged on about Mortal, okay? Can you guess how many days it is since he's won?
No, I think we had this conversation on the last pod when he ran, but how many?
950 days when he was still with Joseph, okay? But still, he was 5th in the cross country behind Delta Work. He was 4th in the cross country at Cheltenham in January. He was 5th to Durasso when he was still with Joseph. And also 4th to Bacchusson, and we've seen Bacchusson is alive and well and back winning. He was 4th to De La Dallier in the cross country at Cheltenham in December. So he still has an entry for Aintree at 150 to 1. Whether he goes or not, I don't know now, because I think there's only 39 entries or something left. I haven't gone through them all. But I like him. He's carrying 11 stone. Gordon might put someone up who's taken a few pounds off his back too. And he's been running into great places, you know, and he's caught my eye. Yeah, okay, it's been 950 days, but as we see with Kitty's Light, you know, you can throw all those rule books out the window. Punitive, really liked Punitive when he bet Fakira back at Fairy House, that really good Fairy House in December when we learnt so much. That produced a lot of winners for Cheltenham as well. We talk about Dublin Racing Festival. Fairy House has done the same as his Nace. And Wawa, as we were saying, a good Yates. We've seen Angel's Dawn is now going to the Irish National. Noble Yates, he's another Yates. They're strong, they're grindy, they love a bit of a battle. So with that 10-10 up, yeah, we don't have Brian Cooper this time, but Dermot McLaughlin knows how to train a national winner, and I think he'll have him, you know, ready ready for the Ulster National. So I'd love to see Mortal win, but I think Wawa has a really, really good chance. Really good chance.
Yeah. Anything else on the card, or is just the Ulster National?
The Ulster National, and then I'll be waking up in the morning to look at declarations whether country queen goes or not. But other than that, it's kind of, my head is stuck between the two now and thinking about Fairy House and that. So if I can get the winner out of the Ulster National this weekend and the Lincoln, I could tie the two of them in together. It would be really, really lovely. And we've got tomorrow at Wexford, Birdie Blitz is running, and she was a great winner a couple of weeks ago. So I think she's definitely worth a proper look at Wexford.
She's actually in my tracker, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. I've got one definitely for Sunday in the 3:35 at Ascot, and that is my good mate Dolos. It was very unlike him to pull up last time out at his beloved Sandown. It's just you don't see him pull up and run badly. He's becoming a horse hard to place. Well, he has been for the last 3 years. He's always top weight in handicaps, but he's not quite graded level. And you never get any respite from the handicapper. It's very harsh. But this looks extremely winnable for him. Despite his recent Ascot form, which isn't great, he can definitely win. It looks a weak race, and I think Dolos can go very close for the Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden team. Another one in the 4:45 Ascot veterans race. Wishing and hoping has probably done his winning for the season. I think he needs a bit of a break myself. If he runs well, I back him. Also will, but I think he needs a break. But he's definitely worth a couple of quid. And then we can look forward to Fairy House next week. I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
I think we've covered everything. And I mean, you did well listening about the flat. I mean, come August or September, you'll be just dying for like Champions Weekend, the Arc de Triomphe, Breeders' Cup.
Got plenty of summer cups at Market Raise and Uttoxeter. I think Matty said there's one at Worcester as well. So we've got plenty to keep
Galway.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and Ortoy.
Exactly. Yeah. There's plenty. And Franco Deporte is supposedly doing his French campaign. And we've seen how well he ran at Cheltenham. He was what? He was fourth in the cross country, or was he third?
Yeah, I think
he was third. Yeah. So his whole thing is he's to do a French campaign this year. So, Willie and French horses, and Willie sending horses over to France. So he's definitely one to follow.
Definitely. So thanks once again, Dawn, and look forward to seeing you next week for the Fairy House, where it takes centre stage 3 days. And everyone, thanks for watching. Enjoy the flat and obviously the jumps, Uttoxeter and Stratford, and we'll see you next week.